So, welcome to this week's blog. So, I've been thinking about art projects outside because the sun's shining now and we've got much better weather, certainly here in the UK, that we can get outside with our kids. I mean, kids love being outdoors, don't they? The quote for this week is something along the lines of art will never exist without nature. And in some instances, I believe this to be true. There really is inspiration and um, ideas just come when you're outside. You get much more. I've talked about this a lot on the blog, is that when you're outside, ideas just come to you. They don't need to be forced. They seem to just appear from nowhere. It's like the universe is suddenly going, oh, yes, you're having a rest. So why don't you start thinking about this, that, and the other? So it gets really, really interesting when you're outside. But let's face it, at the end of the day, kids love being outside, don't they? They really, really enjoy being outside, doing things. They are likely to pick up all sorts of things and make things. They have no doubts that they will be able to, make an insect home out of loads of bits of rock and stick and anything you like. If you set them off on a project, they would definitely disappear off and something would appear. Might not be how you imagined it, but it would certainly be something very special to them. So, getting outside and thinking about doing things, giving them a task to do in the garden is such a great way to inspire creativity in your kids. They really, really grow through this kind of problem solving, this curiosity about the world around them. What things go together? What can they use for this? What could they use for that? If you give them some natural objects and say, make a dragon, then actually they probably would. They'd be able to work out a way that they could make those things look like a dragon in some form or other. They could definitely describe to you what their dragon looks like in their heads. They'll go through, this is his tail and and it may not look like the dragon that you would be expecting as an adult. We kind of lose that kind of vision that youngsters still have, and they can just put things together and their imagination goes wild. And it's just this wonderful culmination of all the things that we believe creativity is. And kids have it in abundance. And then, of course, as we grow up, we kind of lose a little bit of it because we've got other things to think about, and you just need to hold on to some of that kind of childlike feeling. And when you inspire your children like that and you give them these tasks to do, then something inside you starts to change as well, because you get inspired and you think, oh, actually, I could have a go at this. So why not this week have a go at offering a project, a task for them to do? So get outside. It could be anywhere. You could be in a park, you could go to the woods, you could be down the beach. You probably see me on social media. I live near the sea, so for me the beach is the ideal place. Building rocks and things like that, quite often come across them on the beach. You could do absolutely anything outside, wherever you are. It could even just be your garden. If you don't have a garden, a friend's garden, family garden, and just give them a task to do. So they need to create something. Now, if you saw social media this week, you will have seen the wonderful eagle that a business buddy's son made. and she shared with me, because it was absolutely fantastic. And it was just things from their garden that he had made and created this thing. I believe it was for a school project. So it was incredible. And I really, really believe that, whatever you give your children to do, they will be able to do it. So, some examples. Like I said, the dragon, great. Something that moves. Okay, it doesn't have to, you don't have to be specific about, make a car, make a truck, make a train, something that moves, because then you've got to have wheels that move, or rollers, or whatever they want. You could give them a task, something that an animal could live in. Could be an insect home, could be a bee home, could be something for the cat or the dog. Depends how big and what they find. A hedgehog home or something like that. It really depends on your child as to how big they think, really. So something for an animal, something, I'm just trying to think, something to keep something in, like a treasure box, something that they could make, that they could keep a small treasure in, something like that would be really good, because it's quite interesting to see how they make something that can contain something else. So that's quite a nice treasure thing to do. Make a character. Make a character. Many years ago, and I've been searching and searching for a photograph, because I know I took one, but I was out in the woods. This was pre-COVID, and I made a little creature, character really. It had arms, and it was a fir cone. He had eyes and arms and legs, and I left him in a touristy spot. There was a kind of a lookout, and I left him sat on the lookout waiting for somebody to find him. Don't know if anyone found him. I couldn't leave a note. I just hoped that it would make somebody smile that day. So making a character of some description, a fairy or a goblin or something like that, you give them a few ideas if they get stuck. And fairy doors. Fairy doors are great things to make. I have a great online friend who makes real fairy doors. But you could have a go, or your child could have a go at making a little fairy door or a fairy garden even. So there are lots and lots of things that you could probably think of. There's a few ideas to get you started. I would love to see how you get on. So if you do really get stuck into doing this, follow me on social. I am at Debbie _Swan _Signini. The links are below on Instagram, Facebook, Signini Crafts. But like I say, links are below. You can follow me on social. You can drop me some photos. That would be great. I would love to see what you're doing. And I will be back next week, and we will be looking in more depth at things that you can get ready to do over the summer. See you then.